Hey guys, welcome back. It's Claytano. Thanks so much for tuning in as always. And today's video is the fourth video in the beginner guide series going up to 400,000 power today. If you haven't watched the previous videos going to 100,000, 200,000, and 300,000 power, I would say go back and watch those first. However, if you are already up to this point, I would say welcome back. If you could just do me a favor and check down below. If this is your fourth video that you're watching of mine and you have not subscribed yet, go and do me a favor. We're friends at this point. We're already friends, so just hit the subscribe button because you'll also get notified if you click the bell that I upload a video, and those videos are typically helpful. So it'll just give you another edge on the competition. So with that said though, I'm gonna break the video down pretty easily here into summoner power, monster power, and your account overall. And I wanted to make this video on basically the day that I got to 400,000 power, so that way you can see my account from top to bottom and everything that went into going to 400,000 power, like to a T, nothing more, nothing less. And it took me a little under 4 weeks to get here from the time that the game came out, but I do think I could have saved a lot of time and gotten there a lot quicker if I would have done certain things. And that's kind of the idea behind this video and all my other guides, is that the time you spend watching this video should be exponentially saving you time in the game and saving you resources that you don't have to waste. So with that said, let's start into the summoner power first, because basically the way I did it was I wanted 100,000 power on my summoner and then 3 monsters at 100,000 power each. You can obviously go higher summoner power and then less than 100,000 power on all of your monsters, but I went with the balanced approach for my Orbia. Now, the first thing that I'm going to take a look at on my Orbia is her gear, because gear is obviously very important to getting to 100,000 power. I'm not going to go too into it, but basically you want to be doing your raids, your White Shadow Castle, your Foggy Prison, and then the new raid that's coming out, which is, I believe it's called Narak. That's going to give even better gear, and that's going to be the main source of gear for your summoner in order to get to 400,000 power. It's not going to be subjugation, it's not going to be anything else. It's not going to be crafting or alchemy or blacksmithing, whatever. It's going to be going straight to the raid and getting the drops from the raid. The drops are pretty good, and then the coins that you get in order to buy, you know, like for example, this, if I were to make this, it would cost me so many resources, and I was just able to buy it with the tokens that you get from the raid. Each raid has their own different tokens, so you're going to want to be refreshing all the different raids every single day. So with that, I have pretty much everything over +9. And then on average, I would say my gear is around +10, +11. I didn't go over that because it's really expensive to go over that. Obviously, +12 would be great, and it'd probably be much higher power if I did +12 everything, but it's super expensive, and I've been focusing my resources into a larger depth of monsters, getting prepared for RTA, versus putting all of it into just my summoner and you know, squeezing a little bit more power out of my summoner. So that's the decision that I made. Obviously, you guys can make your own decision in what you want to spend your resources on. The other thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you're using your gems. I know it's pretty obvious, and I've probably gone over this in other videos, but the gems are really important, and I wouldn't be 400k power without them. And that's on, well, I actually just got an upgrade for this one from the Spirit Nightmare Marble. So I haven't added my gems yet to this one, but you're going to want to use your gems on the other ones. Of course, I don't use my water one very often or my fire one, so I don't have the gems, but put the gems on because it's free power. And if you're not, then you're missing out. And also, you know, the little enchantments here as well, which is the effect stone. It's going to give you free power, and it's going to make things really easy for you to get over 100,000 power. Well, it's not going to be easy, but you get the idea. Use them. They don't necessarily need to match specifically what you need them to right now. They don't for me, and you can see I even have a lot of equipment that doesn't have anything on it. But if you have them, use them. You can't not use, just use them. All right, moving on. These skills are very important as well. And in order to get more skill points, you're going to need to get your alchemy level to 6. And that is really going to be the best way for you to start breaking through that barrier of not having enough skill points, because then you'll always have a way to make more skills. And what I mean by that is you'll go to your profession, you'll go to alchemy, and if you're level 6, you can come all the way down here and you can actually craft skill books. They're very expensive to craft, but they're worth it, and you'll get a lot of these research log pieces throughout the game while you're playing. There's many different ways. However, I would say the best way that I've gotten a lot of mine have been through my expedition. I've been farming level 3 at about 10 seconds on auto with Chloe, Chiwu, and Tessarian with my Dark Orbia for heal block, and I've just been really farming these research log pieces. I've been refreshing every single day. You don't have to, it's very expensive, but just know that that's a good way to get your extra skill books and then, alchemy them into actual skill books. If I was able to farm level 4, I'd probably be able to get more, but I'm not able to farm 4 right now. And I believe it changes bosses every single month, so I'm not sure. We'll stay tuned on that one, but I don't want to make monsters specifically for autoing an expedition with the thought that it might reset after a month. So that's for my skill books. As far as where I place them, I don't think it's that crazy. I spent a lot of my skills on like the passives. I think I maxed out most of my passives. I think I just have this one that I need to max out too. They're pretty cheap. It's cheap power, and they're beneficial. Same thing with my utilities. I maxed those out, but then I saved points not going into a lot of the attribute advantage things. I just went with the one main wand that I use all the time. Wind will probably be my next one, and then everything else I just dumped into my actives. I don't think you really need to overthink it. And if you don't like the way yours is, you can just reset it. So you just click here, you hit reset, and it's 100,000 gold, and just try something else out. So that's, nothing crazy there, but the main thing with skills is just being able to get more skill points, because you're going to need them. You're going to need a lot more skill points, and it's going to help your account tremendously by having more skill points. So do your alchemy. So we already talked about enhances. We already talked about gems, stones. So then transcendence is going to be the next one. This is actually a little bit interesting because if you're a Sky Arena player, it's contrary to what you would normally think of just like farming runes to death right now, which isn't necessarily what you want to be doing. You definitely want to be refreshing your path of growth. However, when you're doing your path of growth, you want to make sure that you're really getting these at the times that you need them. So dark ones are going to be very easy to get because you're going to get them through other places of the game. You're going to get them while you're farming runes. But the other ones are going to be a little bit different. So the red ones, for example, you're only going to be able to get from path of training. So the red ones are all path of training, right? Path of training, rupture, yes, but you're going to be able to farm them from path of training, making sure that you're farming them on the bonus, because you will not get them if you don't farm them on the bonus. So if we go to path of training and we look at this, grassland chaos is not on bonus. I don't have the ability to get the red transcendence pieces. However, if I go on bonus, I'll be able to get them here. You'll be able to get the red ones from this one as well. It's not just the red ones come from the red boss or the green ones come from the green boss. No, the red ones come from path of training, all of them, as long as you're on bonus, and you'll need to farm them. Path of adventure on bonus is what's going to give you the dark ones. Subjugation, the only reason why you're really going to be farming subjugation is for your red ones. I don't even have it unlocked because I just don't farm subjugation for anything other than the red ones, and it doesn't even matter which one I farm. It just has to be on bonus. So I can't farm green ones today. Sorry, I said red ones earlier, but The green ones come from subjugation. I can't farm green ones today because I don't have my Ice Warden unlocked, because I would have to go to 10 in order to get them. The only reason why I farm this is for subjugation tokens, in order to buy these pieces specifically for my blacksmithing promotion quests, right? Blacksmithing promotion request. And I'm able to basically, I'm almost up to level 7, which will allow me to, you know, do some cool things with the raid weapons and go all the way up to like 6 stars. That's going to be for 500k. But for now, just farming subjugation to get your green pieces for your summoner transcendence. And then doing this as much as you can in order to get them from 1, 2, 3, and really trying to farm them so that way you have the pieces before you get to the next level. It's not going to be easy. You're probably going to max out pretty far earlier than you'll get the pieces, but then just switch to an alternate character so that way you're not wasting the experience while going through the dungeons. But I wouldn't be 100k power without being level 3 transcendence. So again, something to do for sure. Focus on it. That's it for the summoner though. That's how I got to 100,000 power on my summoner. There's no secret to it. Just better equipment and doing your transcendence. There's a little bit more that goes into it on the account side, but we'll get to that in a second. Monsters is going to be the next thing we talk about, right? Remember I said 100,000 power summoner and then 300,000 power monsters. So obviously Bastet's at 102, which allows me to have a little bit less on my Vanessa. So these are the 3 monsters that I use to get me to 400,000 power. And at this point, you're going to have a really hard time getting to 400k power with 4-star units or 3-star units. You're really going to need to have 3 5-star units in order to accomplish this. So if you're trying to get there with 3-star units, it's not going to happen. Be okay with not being 400k power with 3-star units. It's okay. But if you're trying to get to 400k, you're going to need 5-star units, because these are 15 awakened, fully awakened, max skilled, which is 16 skill ups on every single one of them, and level 70. And that's both my Chiwu and my Bastet. Fully 15 awakened, max skilled, level 70, right? That's a given. That's a requirement. You have to have at least 2 of them. And then that will allow you the ability to kind of slack off on your third one, because Vanessa is only 11 awakened, but still fully skilled. So the one thing I keep getting asked in my Discord, by the way, if you guys aren't in the Discord just yet, it's popping off. There's a whole bunch of good information in there. A lot of great people, helpful people. I'll drop a link in the description below for you guys to jump into that, discord.gg/Claytano. It's awesome. It's awesome for information, and really just a good community to hang out with. But a lot of people ask me questions in Discord of, is it better to 15A or to skill up? I'm starting to think that it's better to save if you have multiple duplicates of a monster. Instead of using them for skill ups, if you haven't 15 awakened them yet, save them, especially if they're a 5-star monster, save them for 15A, because you'll eventually need to either get more of them or restore them in order to break past the barrier of, 11A or 13A once you get past that. So save those pieces for awakenings and then use off element monsters for skill ups and or devil mons for your skill ups instead. So for that, I hope that answers your question. The other thing too, so not all 15A and fully skilled monsters are created equally. Your 15A max skilled monster could be better than somebody else's 15A max skilled monster. And I'm not talking about runes. So to show you guys something as well, if you're not aware of this, I think this plays a huge role into your power. I mean, I know it plays a huge role into your power, but your monster book. As you're summoning more monsters, just summoning monsters is going to give you overall power. And this is a little bit more into the account side of things, but for now, I'll just focus on the monster at hand, which is Bastet. Obviously, I summoned a lot of these through the Bastet event, and I was able to max her book out at level 14. If I were to just get Bastet to 15 awakened, I would only be at a level 5 book effect if I was to only summon 6, which is the main Bastet that you use, plus the 5 skill ups, 5 copies that you need for her 15 awakened status. I would only get to level 5 book effect. However, because of the event, I was able to summon quite a lot more, and you get additional bonuses like 7,200 HP, which is nuts, and 20% resistance, just because I kept summoning her from the event. I've summoned more than 14. I actually have another 200 pieces of her that I'm going to use for skill ups on Sekhmet or Hathor or whoever, but it maxes out at 14. So if you have a 14 maxed, 15 awakened, fully skilled Bastet, it will probably be equal to somebody else's, not including account extras and other bonuses, but it should be the same. The other thing is, like, for example, Chiwu, just to show you guys what this looks like. Not all monsters have the same book effect. Chiwu has the HP, but then instead of being resistance, he has accuracy, which is great because he needs a lot of accuracy. So if you're trying to rune him, maybe your answer is just summoning more of him in order to get your book effect. But that's where the banners come into play, where if you're summoning a lot, you'll just summon on the same banner over and over and over again in order to max your book out, which I know some people did for Chiwu, some people did for Wusa. I didn't. I ended up getting enough to where I can get 15 awakened for all my other monsters, because again, I'm prioritizing monster depth versus just sheer power on 3 units for right now. Just because I know with RTA coming and other things, like, I'm gonna want to have more monsters built. So I have more level 70s, more awakens, stuff like that. But yeah, so that's your awakening. That's your skill ups. Focusing on those 5-star monsters. That's about it. Runes, you don't need to have legendary runes. A lot of the time right now, if the stats are better on your purple runes, they're going to give you more power. Don't try to force a legendary rune just because it's a legendary rune and you might only have like 1 or 2 of them. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be better, and it definitely doesn't necessarily mean it's going to give you more power. In some occasions it might, but it might not be the best use for that rune for that specific monster. So Bastet, being a support monster, she's going to get attacked first from Theomars's or other teams' archers, which means that I want the basic attacks to be evaded. So I went full foresight on her, and again, focused on HP that pairs well with her skills, focused on resistance, evasion, things like that. Where with Vanessa's getting attacked by everything, skills, and all the above, right? Because it's the tank, it's going to be in the middle. So I want HP, I want defense, I want all the stats, not just evasion. Where with Bastet, it's a little bit different. So again, going back, not needing legendary runes, you can still get plenty of stats. 86 crit, 196 crit damage with 4200 attack. You can get all of this stuff still from your purple runes. And you don't want to over farm runes. Farm runes up till you have a decent set, but understand that if you farm another 100 Path of Adventure, are you realistically going to get that much of an upgrade? Or can you just use those sets that you have for right now and then farm your Transcendence pieces? It'll probably give you more guaranteed benefit than running a million dungeon runs for runes, because purple runes do just fine for right now. And I believe they're coming out with 6-star runes in the future as well. So just understanding that you know, focus on the things that matter. Is one rune going to give you that much of an upgrade? Yes or no? How long is it going to take you to get that rune? What are the resources that you're losing out on? And doing that math and understanding, you know, the opportunity cost. It's very important. So for me, I have pretty much good rune sets for a tank. I have good rune sets for a damage dealer. I have good rune sets for a support. I have a couple other good rune sets for other units outside, so that way I don't have to continuously, you know, swap them around. And I'm good. I'm good on runes for right now. I'll eventually go back into farming them, but I don't need to farm them past what I've already done in order to do what I want to do in the game and in order to get to 400,000 power. So that's it for monsters. There's nothing else that really needs to go into them. Now to talk about the account. And this is really a really important part of it. So with account, we'll start with the account power, account level, and the account skills. So this plays into effect for both your monsters and your summoner. And I decided to do this route. There's no right or wrong answer at the moment that I'm aware of. However, if you do feel like you want to try something else, you can just click on this thing that's behind the camera. It's a little you know, magnifying glass, and then you click on reset right here. And it used to be 1,000 crystals. They lowered it to 300. So it's pretty cheap if you want to reset all of your account skills and go into something else. The top ones are going to be your summoner abilities, and then the bottom ones are going to be your monster abilities. And so monster abilities are multiplied by 3, summoner abilities are multiplied by 1 because there's only one summoner, right? So if you're only going for, you know, power and you just want to have the craziest power, maxing out your summon power, your monster power is going to be probably your go-to. But for the most part, getting a higher account value, I've made a video on how to get account levels. It's rough. You know, buying packs will give you account levels, but also just leveling up all your monsters. So even though I necessarily haven't, I haven't evolved every single one, I've leveled up every single copy of one single unit. I don't even have 2 stars that are level 1. I have them all leveled up, and that will help you level up your account level. I made a whole video on it. You guys go check that out if you want more help on leveling your account level. But yeah, that's it for your account level. Just use your account skills. Try to get to the farthest one in the tree because that'll give you the most bonus. And focus on what makes sense for your account. It could mean something different for everybody. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do that though. The next thing we'll talk about is the closet. Believe it or not, closet helps quite a bit, and I didn't realize this until probably a week ago. But any set that you have, it continuously stacks. It's not just one single set. Whatever you're wearing gives you that bonus. It stacks just by having it in your closet. So make all of them. As many as you can, make them. Because you go to outfit effect and you'll see all of your activated effects just by having them in your closet. So this is going to help your Orbia or your summoner, and it's going to also help your monsters. So make sure you guys are getting your outfit effects. That's going to add probably like a couple grand of power to your team just by getting outfits. The other thing is going to be your I mean, from this point, it's basically just going to be your power of ascensions. And this is the last thing we'll talk about. I appreciate you guys kind of hanging in here, but I hope this has been valuable so far. The last thing is your power of ascensions though, and you'll get the Knight's Shield from your normal and hard, just going through it every single month. I'm excited for the reset because I'll get about, you know, another 150,000 Knight's Shields. In order to get these ones, you're going to have to go over to your Spire of Ascension, particularly the Celestial, you actually can't get more of these pieces from the element towers. You have to go to the Celestial. So for example, the first one that you fight, you're gonna get the available reward. The second time you fight it, you're gonna have to complete some sort of mission here with your monsters and then beat it again. So like I can just switch that out and then it's blue and now I just beat it again and then I'll get, you know, these or whatever reward. And then if I go to the next one, level 2, it'll have some other mission and then I'll get these ones. And then level 3 is going to get these ones. So if you've already beaten Celestial once, you're going to want to go back and beat it 3 more times and make sure that all of your challenges are 3 out of 3, because then that'll give you those extra tokens. And those tokens are then going to be used in your, not the Ascension shop. Don't use the tokens in your Ascension shop. As much as it's going to be tempting to buy like 100,000 mount, don't do that, because that'll set you behind like me. You're going to want to come into your immemorial power and your summon power. The alchemy power and celestial power that's behind my camera here, you know, you can get it to a decent level. Keep in mind that these aren't able to be reset. So once you spend the skills, once you spend the tokens, you can't get them back. They might make it resettable in the future, but for right now, there's no way to reset them, to my knowledge. So immemorial power is going to be for your summoner. Summon power is going to be for your summons or your monsters. And you're going to use those tokens on these ones. I would say probably level these up equally, because this is going to give you more summon power. This is going to give you more monster power. And it's going to be useful everywhere in the game. And it just continues to stack. I think the nice thing about this game is that pretty much everything you do is going to be increasing your power by some extent. Even if you're like fishing while you're fishing at night, you know, sleeping or whatever. So that's going to be important, just to do shit in the game, and you'll continuously increase your power. Even just like summoning unknown scrolls and increasing your monster book is going to increase your power, believe it or not. So just a couple account things there to keep in mind, but realistically, that's about it. There's nothing crazy, I think, that is going to go into it. You just need to focus on those 3 like 5-star monsters, focus on getting your summoner power up, using your account level skills, making sure that you're getting alchemy level 6. That's a huge thing. So that way you can create the skill books, and then farming your expeditions. Those are like I would say like the hot tips, the TLDR. But outside of that, hopefully this helped. Again, the time it took you to watch this video, hopefully it saves you more than that in the game, which I'm sure it will. And if it does, and if it has, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also leave a thumbs up to let me know that this is worth the time. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay soupy, don't be potatoes, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, peace.